Greetings, YouTube. A couple days ago, really about a week ago, I put out life lesson number 3, and it was a direct response because we had a couple people that had said in one of my live streams, they made a comment that they were so depressed that they were considering ending their life. And I have to say thank you because I received so many positive messages from the community, from people who shared the video with the people that needed it, and even just people who really were in a dark place and they needed help. They needed some advice. And that's kind of why I'm making this video, because I have received about 12 to 13 messages in the past few days of people that came across that video, and they have said, look, man, everything you described in that video about being in a dark place and feeling like I don't have any friends, that's me right now, and I don't know what to do. And so I want this video to be something that gives you some tips, some advice on how to find happiness and purpose in your day and to get out of that darkness eventually. And I also want this to be something that you can do if you play Marvel Contest of Champions, but even if you don't, I'm going to cover quite a few things that you could send this to friends or family or loved ones or anyone that's in a really tough place, and they can watch this and have it apply to them. They don't have to know what MCOC is to get something out of this. At least that's my goal. So I want to start off by saying this. When any human being is born, I don't care if you are the most devout religious person or a staunch, outspoken atheist. When you are a baby, you are overwhelmed by the world. And when you are overwhelmed by the world, you cry. Because the world is overwhelming. From the sounds, to the smells, to the pain that you feel, to temperature, all the things we take for granted as we get older. As a baby, it's all brand new to you, so you cry. And how do you comfort a crying baby? You hold it, right? You hold it in your arms and you care for it. And the baby knows when you are holding it that it's not alone. And most importantly, physical touch. There's something incredibly powerful about physical touch that we as human beings need to survive. We need to know that there is someone else out there that can physically help us get through the darkness. And so as we get older, the question becomes, does the world get more overwhelming or less overwhelming? Well, I'm here to tell you, it gets way, way more overwhelming. From heartbreak in relationships, to responsibility, to bills, to disappointment, to health. Every day is like a new slap in the face. And so we as human beings are overwhelmed constantly, and rightfully so, by how hard it is to grow up and to take on all of the things that life makes you take on. But does this world tell you that you need to be held even more than you were as a child? No. It says, put on a fake mask. Put on a smile and tell everybody in your world that you are happy. Go on social media and only post positive things. Don't tell people that you had a bad day. No one goes on Facebook and says, hey everybody, I was really terrible to my spouse today and I'm a douchebag. No, that's not what people do, right? They only show you the perception of their world that they want you to see. And so in it creates this fraudulent intimacy because you only see what the person wants you to see, and somehow you are equating likes on social media posts to hugs or something that's an interpersonal, actual face-to-face equivalent, and it's not. And this can cause so many people who have messaged me saying, I've never been lower because in the past 2 weeks, I thought the only friends I had were in my alliance in the game, and I was kicked, and suddenly I don't have any friends. Well, chances are, first off, those people really weren't your friends, and you need to get much better friends. But secondly, it's an illusion. These people, most of whom you've never met, maybe many of whom live across the world, are sending you text on your phone or your iPad or your computer screen, and you are replacing that with actual verbal intimacy. So this is really this is really my challenge in this video if you're watching this. If you find that you are seriously in a dark place, and so many people are, and it breaks my heart to see it, you need to figure out a way to get that child in your soul that is so hurt and so damaged and so scared and so incredibly overwhelmed some kind of physical touch like you were able to get when you were held as a baby. And I know that might sound strange. Now, if you are in a romantic relationship, that means taking the time to be held by your significant other. But there's a lot of people out there who don't have that. And maybe if you're in middle school or high school, you don't want that, right? But what can you do? Well, you can get a pet, right? You can have your dog or your cat be next to you, and that physical touch from that loved one, even if it's an animal, can do amazing wonders to your depression and your self-esteem and just the feeling of loneliness that you're going to have when you just depend on mobile devices. And then besides that, I think the best thing you can do is sometimes just take a walk outside. Get some sunlight, some fresh air. Do something that involves getting out of the house, or at least opening the shades of your curtains to be reminded that the world is out there and that it's kind of an amazing world, even if it's pretty scary and overwhelming as well. We forget, because the world tells us we should just ignore it or quote unquote grow up, that we should be overwhelmed by all the pains and traumas and disappointments of this world. And there are so many things that every day attack us and force us to be down on ourselves. Even the media, I mean, especially the media, and this is coming from a journalism professor, its job is to make you scared. Its job is to make you depressed and jealous. I hate it so much that that's the world we live in. But at the same time, I want this to be an opportunity to say in a video as I'm looking straight into my computer, don't forget that every adult in this world is still that same baby inside that is overwhelmed and needs to be held. And I don't want you to think otherwise. It is not weak to admit that. It's strong. And when you feel overwhelmed and when you need something to hold on to, just remember that you need to give yourself some grace, because you're a human being that deserves love and deserves something that's far more authentic than just a text message on a computer screen. And so I just wanted to make this video to remind you, if you're going through a really hard time right now, one, you are not alone. My Line app is going to be in this description box below, so if you need to message me for any reason, it's there for you. And two, let people know that care about you that maybe you need a hug, you know? Maybe you just need a hug. A real hug, not a side hug, right? Like a real hug. And if it takes getting a pet, or if it takes hugging that stuffed animal you've had sitting in your closet that you haven't looked at since you were 6, pull that thing out. Stuffed animals are there to remind us that we need to be held as well. And I just want to say thanks for watching. It's very different to do this kind of series on my channel, but if there's one thing that I've learned in the past couple of weeks, it's that this is as important, if not more important, than any MCOC related video that I do, because we are human beings first, and the time in this planet is so short and so precious, and I want to bring light and love into this world first above all else. Thanks for watching, YouTube. May you have a great day, and if you are struggling with pain right now, I sincerely hope and I sincerely pray that you'll find the light, and if you need to message me, I hope to bring some light into your world as well.